Take this job and shove it.
This is Jobcast Radio. I am Mike Baumgartner, your Work-Life Survival Sage, Chief Executive Officer of the Work-Life Survival Center and your host. If you've got a problem at work, if you've got something happening that just doesn't feel right, you're having a struggle getting through your job, you got a problem with a coworker, things just don't feel right, you give me a shout, 304-867-4142. Again, 304-867-4142. And for those of you who don't have a job, I am also your resource. You need help with your resume. You need help with an interview. You need to know how to dress. You need to know what to say. How do you find a job? How do you get them to say yes? How do you negotiate your salary? I can give you lots of advice on all of that, and it's actually good advice. Not all that stuff that you tend to find out on the internet, but I am a resource. Been in this for more than 20 years and more than happy to provide with you the kind of answers you need to balancing your work and your life and surviving through both. Again, my number 304-867-4142. You can shoot me an email, mike@jobcastradio.com. Check out my website, jobcastradio.com. You'll also find my latest videos on resumes, on interviews, and just surviving the job. And you can also check out my blogs, my articles, as well as articles of other very brilliant individuals that are out there. And again, it's all free. What are the odds? Something free out there? Sounds too good to be true? Yeah, well, eventually I may charge. No, maybe not. Why? Because my reward is knowing that you're out there getting a job. I have had times when I couldn't find a job. I had times when I went for 6-8 months trying to find a job, and you've got a family looking at you going, are we going to eat this week? I know that kind of fear, which is why I wanted to spend time and why I want to take the experience that I have and what I have learned both on the job and off, helping you get to where it is that you need to go. Because I know what that fear is like. I know what it is like to go day after day after day and not get somebody to respond to your resume. Or what's worse is they respond, they interview you, and then poof, they're gone. And they don't even reply to you, and you don't even know what it is that you did wrong. Well, give me a call, because we can talk that through. Because, there's a lot of things that, look, you don't know what they're looking for. And as much as you may think that the job description that is in front of you, that you're reading on the web, or that somebody has handed you, and you're writing your resume to that job description, I kid you not, 6 out of 10 job descriptions don't even describe what the real job is like or what the real person they're looking for is. Because remember, job descriptions are being written most of the time by, I hate to say it, HR people, who quite frankly have a difficult time defining their own job, much less any other jobs. And if you've ever seen an HR person try to write a job description for a senior technical documentation writer, it's like putting a 4-year-old in front of a Mack truck and say, take this shipment from Fort Lauderdale to Washington State. They don't know. And what do? They go and they ask the hiring manager, who has all of 5 minutes to kind of describe what the job is, because frankly, he doesn't know, or at least he can't put into words what the job is. And also what they forget to put in is really what the job requires. And I'm not talking knowledge. I'm talking about those things that will drive you crazy if you don't have them because they didn't put it in the job description and you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. Things like, can you deal with ambiguity? Can you deal with the fact that what you're going to write is going to be revised 27 times before you finally get it to a final draft? Or that our company likes to have you write stuff and then just throw it away. Think about that. So job descriptions are not going to tell you things that you need to know. Now, a lot of you do get that. So as a result, you take your resume and you try to make it as generic as possible. And you include everything that has ever happened in your life, and you cram it into 1.5 or 2 pages, or for those of you with 10-year careers, by the way, a 1-page resume will not get you the job. Because if you can sum up your career in 1 page, frankly, it's a crappy career. Think that through, okay? I know people will tell you the resume needs to be 1 page. And if you've only got 3 years of experience or you've been in the market for 2-3 years, yeah, a 1-page resume is fine. But if you're looking for a job that pays more than $30,000 and you hand me a one-page resume, chances are the person with the two-page resume who has more experience or at least can convey his learning is going to get the job. These are the kinds of things you need to think about. And I know you're not thinking about it when you're writing it down. And when you write your resume, you include everything from the time you were in Boy Scouts to the Glee Club to your job at McDonald's, the gas station, the Pizza Hut. Then you found yourself, you went to college, you went to law school, but you've got all that on your resume. And what does that tell me? You're scattered, you have no idea what you're talking about, and you don't know what a resume is. And you don't get the job. Resume writing, as much as I say just be yourself and be honest and be clear, resume writers, this is why resume writers charge $700 to write your resume, because they know you're crappy at it. So call me, check out my website. We can help you get it through. There's some great, easy resources to get out there. Go on Google, type in Super Job Search. It's a great book. It's been out forever, and it'll walk you step by step. It'll put your resume together. You'll get a job. I guarantee you, you'll get a job. Just think this through. And for those of you, by the way, who are writing your resume, and I always tell you, look, I know you listen to my show, those of you who are faithful, loyal listeners, and I tell you, you need to prove that you are special. And a lot of you are really trying to write your resume to make it look like you are the catch of the day. And you do need to do that with your resume. But some of your resumes that I have seen lately are making you look like you are the man of steel, and not even kryptonite will be a weakness for you. And as a result, some of the resumes I've seen lately, for those of you who are trying to look like Superman, are absolute eyebrow-raising. And I'm not going to look at your resume because I don't believe it. Because there are only so many superhuman feats you may be accredited for. So take a look at your resume. And if you've been if you've been an accountant for 4 years and you put in your resume that you did a project that saved the company $74 billion, you're going to need to either back that. Well, look, 9 times out of 10, a recruiter's going to look at this and say, you are absolutely full of poop. You didn't do it. It doesn't look believable. You didn't give me enough description to explain it. Therefore, I think you're a liar and I'm going to throw you away. Now, why do recruiters do that? Because recruiters, much like the IRS, all believe that what you put in a resume is an out-and-out lie. And unfortunately, that's the truth. Many, many people lie horrifically on their resume. They do it. I used to do it. Because people didn't think that they were interesting enough to hire them. I get that. I understand that. But if you've got a resume that makes you look like Superman, you're not going to get looked at. You need to take those things that will raise an eyebrow, and if you actually did it, you need to make sure that you can prove it and you explain it enough to make somebody want to ask a question about it. Also, things that are irrelevant to what it is you're looking for, get rid of. I don't care if you were an Eagle Scout. I don't care that you worked at a gas station to help pay for your college education. That's a neat thing. It tells me a lot about you, but I don't need it in the resume. Bring it up on the interview when they try to figure out who you are as a person. Don't put it in your resume. If I'm applying for a finance job or an engineering job, it doesn't matter that I used to work at the local Chuck E. Cheese. It doesn't matter how I paid off my college loans with jobs that had, if I worked at the local broadcast station, if I used to work at the local radio station, and I'm applying for an HR job, it doesn't matter. That is why my resume does not mention that I used to DJ on WTPX down in South Florida. It doesn't mention this show. Why? Because broadcast doesn't get me an HR job. Get rid of look, it'll tell me a lot about you if your resume is focused around the job that I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a finance job, show me all the finance things that you did. Now, if you did a job that was not in finance related, but you did finance things, make sure you put that out. Because if my eyebrows shoot through the skin, think about it. Hand your resume to somebody who has no idea who you are. And if they go, wow, why don't you have a job? Then take a look at the resume and then hand it to somebody who knows you really, really well. You want to test as to whether or not your resume is believable? Guys, hand it to your wife. Wives, hand it to your husbands or your boyfriends. If they read your resume and they start laughing at you, or they start going, dude, you're really putting it on thick. Warning. Warning. Make sure that what you're putting on your resume, you can back up. You can't, look, if you're Superman, that's fine. Prove it. Make sure that you've got the recommendations and the references. Put it up on your LinkedIn profile. Have your boss praise you on this superhuman thing that you did. But I'll tell you, if you look too good to be true, right now recruiters think you probably are. You've got to make sure that it's balanced. And if you are the best, most perfect person for the job, it will come through. Just make sure it's real. Again, if your SO, if your significant other looks at you and thinks you're a clown for writing this resume, that's how you're going to come across. We'll be back.
Take this job and shove it.